Hey everybody, it's Derek, aka Mr. Shred with Masters of Shred, your #1 source for all your daily Shredtacular content. We are now doing episode number 2 of our second season of Talking Shred, brought to you by the innovators of Ohhh, Morley, and we have a very, very special guest here. He is the Shriff Lord Supreme, the architect of Shred. Give it up for Grammy Award-winning Shred extraordinaire, MarkTremonti.
Thanks for having me. Am I supposed to shred now?
Go for it. Now that's what I'm talking about right there. Give it up for MarkTremonti, everybody. So we're gonna kind of hop right into it. We're in Chicago, the Windy City. You're going to be bringing the Shred tonight with Alter Bridge, which you guys are a part of the Victoria Sky Tour alongside of Skillet. So tell us about what we just heard, this insane rig we got going on here. What we got?
This is my MT-15. It's real dialed in for kind of the heavier kind of... I want it to be tight, precise, but not harsh. You know, a lot of the amps I grew up with playing could give the gut punch of a rhythm attack, but when you got into the lead stuff, it was too harsh. So this amp, to me, is a combination of my favorite amps with all their strengths. You know, I try to do my best to incorporate all that into this amp. The clean tone, again, is one of my favorite parts of this amp. It's very, I wanted to dial in a Fender Twin pretty much and put it in a little 15-watt head here, but tried to emulate the sound of an open 212 cabinet Fender Twin with the chimey high end, because I'm never a player that's you're gonna see strumming like this.
Right.
I'm always using my fingers, so you know, I just wanted to dial that in. It's also got a push pull here. It was already pulled, but if you dial that back, it's a much cleaner clean. So it's got a ton of headroom for a 15-watt amp. Super clean. I'm not, like I said, I was not the type of player to strum with my pick, so I have the presence really kind of in the forefront here for kind of a finger style clean. Like I said, do the push pull if you want a little grit on there.
And this amp's been a pretty big success for you because, I mean, I remember the buzz surrounding it before it came out. Everybody wanted to get their hands on this amp, and it was kind of a delay in getting it out because the demand was super high. And I think it definitely sells extremely well. It's probably the #1 go-to amp for the portable size tube amps with some serious balls, for lack of a better word. But question though, is there any plans to possibly further the already tremendously successful MT line of PRS amps?
Yeah, we just the other day I had the MT100 out. It's, you know, it's not dialed in yet. We've gone through maybe 3 revisions of it so far. The last one I had sounded really nice. My only request is to make it push some more air. You know, the tones were all great. The clean tone is incredible for a normal head. Like I said, I'm not a fan of cleans out of any kind of 100-watt head. I want open back, kind of clean tones. The amp sounds amazing clean. The dirty tones sounds incredible. The leads sound incredible, but I'm just going to ask. You know, I'm going to try and dial in a little more air. You know, when I chunk on this stuff, when I do the, you know, any kind of. I want to go. I want the speakers to push air at you. You know? And it does, but I want to get to push a little more. So we'll see what happens.
And so you think you're going to also have a power soak option to kind of bring it down from the 100? Maybe go to 50?
We do on this. This splits it in half, so we'll probably do that on the 100-watt as well.
Wow, nice. Is there any date for that, or still? Because you're still working on it, right?
Can't put a date on it until we get it. Yeah, because once we get the tones right, then we have to work on the aesthetic of it. I'm pretty much going to stick pretty close to the front of this and just put a shell around it.
Well, if there's anything like this, I think everybody's gonna be buying it. So
yeah,
it's good to know.
It's great. It's great so far. But in the meantime, this amp, I swear, I mean, when I go home, I'm an amp fanatic. I have a room just full of amps, a lot of that, and I have a wall of just the high gain stuff. And this is my favorite high gain amp. So at $650, I'm not plugging into I'm not going to name the boutique amp companies I'm not plugging into because I'm plugged into this. Not just because it has my name on it, but it's just, you can play at bedroom levels and just fuzz your brain and make believe you're in an arena. It's got that tube saturation at a low volume. So
it's so crazy because 10 years ago, you would never get an amp like this for the money.
No
way.
Not
in double, triple that.
Not in a million years.
It's amazing how far we've come.
If I had this when I was a kid, I would have known to do it myself.
Yeah. Well, you're just one. I would say another really great piece of gear that you have that I don't think I've ever actually seen officially released. But I caught you with Alter Bridge about 3 years ago for the last Hero Tour, and I saw you had this insane looking Explorer-esque kind of Paul Reed Smith that looked just menacing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were asking about that. I put up on the page like, is this ever going to get released? What is this thing? It's gorgeous. Tell us about that.
It's a badass guitar. It's I went up to the factory to dial this amp in, and I told Paul I wanted to kind of design this new shape, and we got on his board, his dry erase board, and we just started drawing it. I kind of gave him an overall vision of what I was looking for, and then he started drawing it, and I was like, what if he changed this line here? And he gives me the pen, so I'm like, all right, erase and draw, and me and Paul just drew it until it got done, and then he called his 3D modeling crazy wizard guy in the room, and he took the picture, took a photo, puts it in this program, comes back 20 minutes later with a 3D rotisserie kind of style image of this guitar. So even with all the contours and everything in there, so they built, whenever they build a guitar fresh from scratch, they use one solid piece of mahogany, and then for the second one, that's when it's already dialed in and they make it more precise. I got both of those, so I have the very first one, and the second one is the one I have on tour, which is just, when I get handed that guitar live, it's just like, here, it just makes me want to go for it. You know?
Really?
It's a killer guitar. People ask me all the time, can I buy that guitar? Where can I get it? To be honest with you, I think some of the traditional folks at PRS are afraid of that guitar company because it's more of a metal looking guitar, and I respect them for wanting to keep more of a classic oriented kind of company intact. If you start putting Warlock looking guitars in their line, it's gonna kind of, I don't know.
Well, did you have a name for that guitar?
I call it Stella.
Stella, okay.
I call the one that's on stage here Stella, and the black one's the Abomination.
Well,
yeah.
so these guitars may not see the light of day, but they will if you go see Alter Bridge.
Yes,
right?
Yes. You never know. I might be able to convince him one day.
Okay, that's great to know. And another big thing here is that October 18th is a big day. It's technically about a week away, but this is when the newest 6th studio album by Alter Bridge drops. Which is Walking the Sky, right? So you have been with the press probably for the past couple of weeks here. They probably asked you every question under the sun already about this album. So I'd rather not ask you the same question a million times. So could you tell us something different about maybe recording this album, some anticipation, excitement you have towards certain tracks, something different that no one's heard about it yet because we're all dying to get it already?
Yeah, it's the only thing that really was different about this record in the big picture that made it different was we had 5 weeks to record. Miles was on tour, I'm touring, we had a 5-week tiny little window to record. It's the smallest we've ever had. So instead of me and Miles getting together and me saying, hey, check out this riff I got, or check out this chorus I have, or whatnot, we had to make complete, fully done demos. So I would present demos to the band with everything done, the arrangement, the lyrics, the melodies, the guitar parts, the drum parts. Miles would do the same thing. So we compiled about 16 songs, and half the record are my demos and half the record are Miles' demos. That being said, when we brought those demos in, the band learns it and puts the Alter Bridge spin on it. So it's not just a song that I wrote or Miles wrote, it's a song that the band all participated in.
So all those tracks in 5 weeks, and you guys still managed to alter your sound by including more synths.
That was part of the
this.
demo process. You
Right.
know, I came across a track on the radio one day. My buddy was driving in the car, and we were just talking. All of a sudden, the song comes on, and I was like, "Hold on a second." Psst, turned it up. Love the song. A song called Tech Noir. It was classic, old school synth '80s. It took me back to when I was a kid, you know, but very moody and melodic and kick-ass. So immediately the light bulb went off because I'm not a big fan of keyboards in heavy metal music or rock music, but that kind I love. You know,
Right.
It's just that synth, old school. When synths first came about, those were some of the coolest tones, and then they got all polished and turned into something different. So we added that original sounding synthwave stuff into a handful of songs, and that was every record you do. You're trying to look for a different color to add to what you do, and not just repeat yourself over and over. So that was our ticket on this record.
Exactly. Well, it sounds great. I mean,
Thank you.
I've listened to all the tracks. One for me, Pay No Mind, is, oh my gosh. And that was based off of a movie you guys watched called The Big Short, right?
Yeah, well, the lyrics were
Great movie, by the way.
Yeah, Miles finished the lyrics on that song, so it's
Something I do with that. It's
yeah.
pretty good. Well, let me ask you, you know, you're very technically proficient, great melodies, amazing songwriter. Have you ever entertained the idea of maybe stepping a foot into the instrumental game and doing an instrumental track or maybe an album?
I did one. We had a magazine, Total Guitar, over in Europe.
Okay.
And they pretty much said, if you give us an instrumental, we'll put you on the cover of the magazine. And this is way back. This is maybe the first Total Guitar cover we did. Since then, we've probably done 20 of them. But so I wrote a song called Ohhh Rabo Taco Salad.
Good title. Makes you hungry though. But.
Yeah, it's because it's, you know, just because of the mode it's kind of in, and I went overboard. You know, I think they expected just a 1 minute clip,
right?
But we did. It's like a 3.5, 4 minute, you know, instrumental that goes through all kinds of changes, and there must be 16 guitar solos in there, and I figured that's what they wanted,
right?
And then I gave it to them, and they're like, well, got to tab it out for us. I'm like, oh man.
I'm second thought. Let's cut this in 60 seconds.
Tabbed that whole thing out for them. Put out the CD came with the magazine.
Right.
You can probably Google it and find it. You know, it's just Ohhh Rabo Taco Salad.
Maybe you should do a re-release of that.
Yeah.
Remaster it.
We performed it live once.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
People will get a kick out of that because the whole instrumental market is really coming back in a weird kind of shrapnel records kind of way, you know? So it's nice to see that. So another good thing I wanted to ask you about was, it's no secret, Alter Bridge has been big with WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, back in 2005, I grew up on your music, but then when I turned on Raw, I'd see Edge come out, the radar superstar, to, you know, your guys' song Metalingus. And I saw you guys also did a Raw episode backstage where, you know, he almost beats up the commentator a little bit there.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, you guys got to be wrestling fans, right? Because you also did pay-per-view soundtracks too for them.
My brother Mike, who's actually out in the hallway right now, he was a wrestling fanatic. So every morning we wake up to have breakfast, wrestling would be on. He's the oldest brother, so he was the toughest, so he watched what he wanted to watch. So we watched wrestling, and he'd be like, "It's real." It's not real. I'm like, "It's real." And then he'd wrestle you and be like, "Is that real? You know, is this real?" So we grew up with it, gotten beaten up by him. So when Adam, who's the Edge, great guy, came to us and said, "Oh, you know, I want to use Metalingus to come out to on stage." We're like, "Hell yeah, man, go for it." We didn't know it was going to turn into something as big as it was. You know, like people stream the hell out of that song.
Such a great intro.
It's gotten
the flutter you do, that one flutter in that
I
song.
love
like,
doing
oh
it.
my gosh.
I actually drew blood. I still have the cut. I got so into the flutter. I came across one of my knobs and I was bleeding down my hand.
Oh, you're kidding, dude.
Yes, it's metal. But you know, it's probably one of our most streamed songs. We won some the best songs of WWE or WWF history kind of thing.
Well, I'm real with you.
I think we're #1 in I Am a True American. Hulk Hogan's the Hulk.
That's a good accomplishment right there to say that. That's pretty big. That was a classic. But I can see every Alter Bridge song being used for someone's theme music.
Hey,
it all gets you charged up. It's been a while since then, but I can definitely see that coming back, you know?
Yeah.
Or AEW. I didn't say it. We'll talk about AEW, but I'm a sucker for it. All right, so, you know, we got over the instrumentals, what have you. We had a thing called Ask Tremonti. We asked all the followers, 108,000, Ask Tremonti. Best question is going to get picked, 3 of them. I'm just going to hammer through these real quick. answer them however you'd like. All right. So this one comes from Joel Mercredi. All right, and he is at Joel, JOEL_MERCRE.DI. He goes, "Hi Mark, do you use much musical theory for songwriting? And if so, what do you find to be the most useful points of theory to help you compose music?"
It's a good question. I teach songwriting. Like these people out in the hallway, I'm doing a songwriting clinic. I've been doing it this whole tour. I always tell people, get rid of your theory. Take your theory and throw it in the garbage. Or else you're going to start repeating what other people are doing. You know, you can use your theory as to fall back on, but I always tell them, try to stay away from your campfire chords and writing songs that you've heard a million times. One good way of teaching people to get out of the habit of falling back on your scales and making your writing, you know, based on theory. And it's great to write based on theory if you're writing jazz tunes or blues tunes, but when you're trying to write progressive music or rock and roll that's just not, you know, straight power chords and stuff, I teach people a few right hand techniques, and then I say, look at the guitar as a blank canvas and just put your fingers somewhere. I'll try it right now. Just put your fingers and try to make the worst chord possible, and just, even if it's bad, you can move your fingers around a little bit, you know. Even as bad as that chord is.
Sounds evil.
If I'm on the radio, if I'm listening to the radio and I hear this, I'm turning it immediately. But if I hear these weird quirky chords, I'm going to say, what the hell is that going to lead to? How are they going to get out of that mess? So I like to take my fingers, put them in, you know, just constantly move them around until you find something that you enjoy. But like I said, you learn a few different, say you're learning something like, just take that technique and kind of, you know, and just, you know, just dive around the guitar using that technique. And it could take me 5 minutes before I found something cool, and I'm going to sound bad for 5 minutes, but I'm going to come across something unique eventually. So take theory and
just explore the fretboard.
Explore the fretboard. And if it helps you, if you're too tuned in, like I've got a lot of great guitar player friends that are afraid to get into alternate tuning because you've ruined years of practice because all of a sudden your scales are gone. But you still have your techniques. You still have your hand strength and your bending and everything else.
It'll sound totally different too in different tunings.
Yeah.
It's a whole other.
But the different tuning will keep you from going to your typical spots.
Right.
And when you're just letting your fingers float around in an alternate tuning, now you're at the mercy of your imagination, which is the best possible place to be. That's why I use so many different tunings. Because if you just start writing with theory all the time, you're going to start repeating yourself, I think.
That's a very good answer. Great answer. And this next one comes from Spencer Walter, which is at Michigan 1777. He goes, "Do you ever sit down and listen to your own music like a fan would and critique what you think you could have done better, whether that be Creed, Alter Bridge, or solo project?"
You know, a lot of times when we write music, you're so into it when you're writing it, and even after you've recorded it, before it comes out, you're analyzing it and anticipating what your fans are going to feel about it, what your friends and family are going to feel about your songs. But once it comes out, you kind of move on. You're on to the next thing. You know? I never go back and say, what could I have done? It's too late. You can't do anything anymore.
Right. Except create.
It's like, what can I do to make a better record the next time? You know, I'm already always, like this record hasn't even come out yet, and I'm already ready for the next step. You know, because we've recorded this record, I don't know, 3-4 months ago.
Right.
So I know this record front to back. I've seen people react to the songs. I know which ones people are going to like more than the others, and for different reasons. But I'm ready to do something different already.
So that's a great answer for that one. And this next.
Real quick, amp.
Oh yeah, keep forgetting about that one.
That was good.
Okay, so the next one we got is from Zach Nichols at ZN_drummer. He says, "Hey Mark, in regards to Tremonti, what happened with Garrett Whitlock? I remember he was such a great fit around last fall and he had to sit out of that tour now. Ryan Bennett filled in, he's great. But I've heard nothing since regarding Garrett back in the fold for the future."
Yeah, Garrett had some personal stuff go on, and then he's been rehearsing actually with Wolfgang Van Halen.
Oh, but you played with him, recorded with Tremonti.
Yeah, so Wolfie finally finished his solo record. It took a long time. I think there's a lot of trips out there, and they finally got it done. Everybody who's heard it says it's amazing.
Have you heard it?
I have not heard it, but I'm going to call his ass and be like, dude, send me your record so I can hear it.
I heard you actually, you played in front of his dad, but by accident you didn't know he walked in the room.
Oh, no, I played in front of him a lot of times.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I saw, all I know was one story, he walked in on you. You know, I can only imagine what that would have felt like.
No, Eddie was, there was one sound check we did where somebody took a picture. A lot of sound checks we have people come in and meet and greet. Say it's 100 people come and watch us, and they all come right up near the fence. Somebody took a picture of Eddie standing maybe 20 feet behind all these people, just watching with a big smile on his face. None of these people knew. If one person turned around, it would have been like a zombie apocalypse. Right? I remember walking on my tour bus, and Eddie's just sitting there in the tour bus. I'm like, oh, shit.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a reason he's not allowed at NAMM. Well, he's allowed, but they don't really want him there because it's like a complete fire hazard. You know?
I've seen him at NAMM.
Oh my gosh!
But I remember I was warming up I was doing some legato stuff, just getting my left hand going, and then I hear this. You don't pick very much, do you? I turn around and it's Eddie. I'm like, it's just my left hand right now. When I'm not warmed up, I get my left hand first. That's why when I did the go ahead and shred kind of thing, I haven't warmed up today, so I go right to my left hand, and then hopefully my right hand will follow after I've played for a half hour. But he said that, and good-humored guy. You know, I've actually been to his house, 5150 Studios.
Oh, no kidding.
Played in a room maybe twice this big, and watched them play their new record. And I was complimenting Wolfie on his bass lines, and Eddie was like, what did you think of my guitar lines? I'm like, dude. What do you think? You're the legend. They're all
never fails. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So, if Wolfie's gonna put out his solo album, you think he'll tour for that? You need a guitar player?
You have to.
Right.
I've seen it so many times where a band will go and create great music and then not tour on it, and it turns into nothing. You got to tour on it. You got. I mean, I've been telling John Connolly is one of my best friends, guitar player from Seven Dust, and Eric, my guitar player from Tremonti, plays in Projected. Scott Phillips is on the drums. You have it's all my buddies, and they never tour. And I'm like, dude, you're putting all this time and effort into these records, and they're great records. But if you don't tour, because Seven Dust is always so busy, you know, it just never catches hold. I don't think, unless you get out there and you show people what the stuff is live, you know. Yeah,
you have to market it. You know, otherwise it just kind of goes to waste in a way, you know? So that's definitely not going to be easy. We actually recently had George Lynch on the show, and George revealed to us that Dawkins and Lynch Mob will be getting together for a co-headliner tour next year. I'm like, well, that's going to be insane. Never thought that would ever happen, right? So I have to ask you, on your time off, right? So you're sitting by the pool, enjoying a beer. Has the thought ever came into your mind, way down the road, I'm not telling you anything now, but saying, you know, maybe it'd be cool one day, do an Alter Bridge Creed co-headliner tour?
I don't know. It would be tough. You know, we have talked about doing like a Alter Bridge and Seven Dust and Projected and Tremonti and Army of Anyone, and like, you know, get
a massive festival.
All the bands with all their side projects, but people punch holes in it. The promoters are like, you're just bringing the same fan base, you know. If a band likes Seven Dust, they're going to like all your side projects. If a band likes Alter Bridge, they're going to like all your side projects. It's the same fan base, so the promoters poke holes in it. Say, no, we want a different band. We want you to pair up with these people with a different fan base, so it fills more seats. So it never happens. But one day we're just going to be like, we're just doing it. Yeah. You're on board or not.
Yeah, right. You just go for it. And you were actually out here doing music for another love of yours outside of the guitar, pinball.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you're a big pinball collector.
Big time. Yeah.
What is your favorite pinball machine you have in your collection?
Medieval Madness was the machine that really made me like, I'm obsessed with pinball. You know, so I'd say that's like me saying Metallica's my favorite band, because they were when I was growing up.
Right.
But nowadays it just switches. Anytime I get a new machine, I obsess about that machine until I try to beat it and get my best scores I can, and then trade it for another one.
Right.
But I just went to the Stern factory yesterday, and some of the guys are coming tonight. But that factory is like it's like walking into an amp company with all the best guitar players on earth designing the amps. You know, you walk into the Stern factory and you have the world's best pinball players, the world's best pinball designers all in one building, and I'm just in awe because I'm on YouTube constantly looking up pinball stuff and watching demos and learning about new machines. And I walk into this building and they're all there, you know, all of them. A couple of them are coming tonight. You know, George Gomez is coming tonight. He designed Monster Bash, and, you know, which is probably the third most famous pinball machine, third most popular ranked pinball machine in the world. But he'll be here, so
yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Pinball's my jam.
That's what it is. Outside the guitar, you shred on the pinball machine.
I'm not a great pinball player. I mean, I love it. I'm good. I'm not like, but these guys are next level. If you think you're good, it's like me sitting down and thinking I was good at guitar, and then sitting down with Guthrie Govan. Okay, I'm just going to burn this guitar, right? That's the same thing with the pinball.
Can do that for a lot of people, like 90% of guitar players.
Yeah.
But no, the good thing is this: you're your own player, your own distinctive style, incredible skill set, so you can hang with all of them. You know, so you got that covered. We ask everybody this, and I haven't asked it the last one, kind of forgot to, but how does Mark Tremonti define shred?
Shred. I think it's the search for speed and technique, you know, shred. I think it kind of has a negative light on it sometimes. I think the older you get as a guitar player, like if somebody's like, Mark, you shredder, I'm like, you know, I like to shred. I like to have fun and make my fingers move fast, but I like to sing with the guitar. I like to create melodies and create compositions within songs, and not just burn, but follow chord changes and make it lyrical and make it like a little song within a song. And but if I didn't have the shred side of me, I wouldn't have the exclamation point at the end of that nice pretty phrase that goes, you know.
Right.
That's what I think that's for me, the purpose of learning how to shred stuff is to have those little exclamation points in your solos, you know.
And out of curiosity, what was the one guitar you wish you never sold?
Well, my very first guitar was a black imitation Les Paul, Tara. I sold it for $100, you know, but I bought it for $10.
Oh,
so 10 times my investment.
Nothing to complain about there. You should be happy.
But for $100, man, I wish I had it. My first guitar that I loved was a Les Paul, Studio Light Les Paul, Candy Apple Red. I polished it every day. It was my baby, and I took it on tour, and somebody stole it.
Was that when you guys first went on tour with Creed, and you had your bus and stuff outside with stickers all over? I heard you talk about that.
Yes.
And boom.
We were in
Boston.
Boston,
Took it all.
and we go to radio stations and put the stickers on the back of the trailers, and then
They knew. Like,
took them and
big banner, come here.
Yeah.
You have gear.
I had a 40th anniversary Les Paul that had P90s in it, so I took one of the P90 out of this. Put a Screaming Demon in there and the P90, and it was incredible.
Those Screaming Demons are vicious.
Yeah.
They sound so good, amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So, Mark, tell everybody, where can everybody follow you at on social media?
You can go to MarkTremonti on Instagram, or just Mark Tremonti on Twitter. Those are my two. People do my Facebook for me, I'm not going to lie. Whatever I put up on Instagram and Twitter, they throw up on there. I don't understand Facebook because I never downloaded it on my phone, you know. So.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, and then you can just go to alterbridge.com or marktremonti.com, or take it my name or any one of my band's names, put a .com after it. You can find your way. Exactly.
You can follow us at Masters of Shred on Instagram, at the official Masters of Shred on Facebook. You can follow me at Mr_Shred_. One day I'm going to get the Mr. Shred one together. Just give it to me. This is ridiculous. Okay.
Let them have it. Let them have it.
Right? And of course, Morley Pedals, the innovators of wah that helped make this happen. Yeah. So at Morley Pedals, and we have a very special giveaway in celebration of this interview that you are not going to want to miss. So stay tuned to the very end so you don't miss out on something we're going to give away over here. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next Shredtacular episode of Talking Shred. And of course, thank you again to MarkTremonti.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you again for watching this incredible episode here with Mark Tremonti of Alter Bridge. Tremonti, you guys know him from Creed, he is a legend. So, in celebration of this, we're going to be giving away one of Mark's awesome limited edition, a dying machine covered signature Morley wahs. There are only 250 of these available in the States, and this thing is nasty with a 20 dB gain boost on this thing to really provide those soaring, nasty wah tones that Mr. Tremonti gets. So how do you want to win this? Very simple. You need to go subscribe to this YouTube channel, and in the comment section below, put your Instagram handle. And on Instagram, follow us at Masters of Shred, at Morley Pedals, and maybe for bonuses, at Mr_Shred_. Just saying. But we're going to pick a winner 1 week from today, and you will get this. And for everyone else who does not get the DM winning this pedal, stay tuned because we're going to have a very special discount code for all of you. It's going to save you a lot, but it's going to be time sensitive. So you're going to want to definitely subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and we'll check your DMs because you may take this bad boy home.